So just to let everyone know, this meeting is being recorded. And originally we had wanted to do this meeting in person, but unfortunately due to some COVID contacts with some folks in our group, we decided to move back to a virtual meeting. And hopefully in whether it be September or October, we do plan to eventually move towards an in-person meeting, but we will definitely keep you posted. But for now, just know that our meetings will be held continue to be held the second Monday of the month at 6:30. And so know that the next month's meeting will be the second Monday of August. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Just a few housekeeping things to make note of. Alyssa, you want to go through these?
Yeah. So for tonight, there are a couple of ways for you to participate. You can either raise your hand if you have any questions or comments, or ask a question in the chat box. We don't have a Q&A box for tonight, so just type it in the chat box. And for the presentation for tonight from Christy Kindig, we'll hold questions towards the end. And then if anyone's dialing in, I don't think I see anyone, dial *9 to raise your hand, and then you will dial *6 to unmute yourself. And we do have Spanish interpretation. Tenemos interpretación en español disponible. Si necesita interpretación en español, por favor, déjenos saber, levante la mano o ponga en el chat que lo necesita y lo puedo prender.
Okay, with that, we will go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. So big announcement to share with everyone. We had in lieu of our July Neighborhood Association meeting, we had a planning meeting with all of the volunteers that have been a part of the Neighborhood Association. And we know just had come off of our very successful June 5th backpack event. And we went through all of the best things that came out of that event, and also some learnings that that came out of it. And so our hope is to make an even bigger and better event for next year. But we also took the time to do a little bit of planning, and we talked about the need for having a more organized board. And because we're all volunteers currently, but we asked for nominations for folks that wanted to be participants as a board. And so this is where we netted out. So I'm proud to present to you the first official Willard Neighborhood Association board. So myself, I'm the president, and Bianca Marchis is the vice president. Gayle is our secretary historian, and Favi Silva is our treasurer. And our hope is to eventually hold in a few more months, maybe when we get to our year anniversary, hold more official nominations and elections as our group starts to grow. That's really what our goal is to recruit as many volunteers and neighbors, because the more folks that have a say in what goes on in our neighborhood, the better. So we really encourage anyone, if you know of someone that's interested in being a part of our group, in helping plan some of the events, or even just participating in person. I see Aaron is on the call today, and he participated at our June 5th event without having ever met our group before. So even if it's just coming and participating at an event, we really encourage all neighbors to participate. You know, this is our neighborhood, and the more that we have a hand in some of the activities that happen and everything that happens here, the better off we'll be. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, or if you know of someone who might be interested in being on the board, or even just as a volunteer, we do have our email address listed here, and then a phone number where you can call and leave a message. Any questions? Okay. One of our first priorities as a now more established neighborhood association is to really focus on our mission statement. And we have one listed on our Instagram page. It's one that was put together at the very early part of our formation. And so I'll read it to you. This is our current mission statement, but our goal is to work and to refine it so that it clearly reflects what is needed and what the neighborhood is looking for. So currently our mission statement is the Willard Neighborhood Association's goal is to make our neighborhood better through safety, beautification, and community activities. So Bianca, I'll hand this off to you. Is there a way that others in the neighborhood can maybe have a say in what our mission statement could be, or what's the best way to get feedback on how we can evolve this statement?
We can put a link to that Google Doc that I came up with.
Okay.
We can put the link in our bio on Instagram, and anybody with the link can sign in and provide feedback.
Okay.
I think that would be the best way to do it. And one of the reasons, just a little bit of background, one of the reasons we want to get this mission statement really nailed down is because we feel then we can really move forward with what our plans are for the rest of the year and in years coming forward or coming up. When opportunities arise, we'll think about the opportunity and then weigh it against our mission statement to make sure that everything is in line with what we say we want to do and who we want to be. So that's why this is one of our goals, because I think it'll really help us to make very clear decisions for our community through the lens of safety, beautification, and community activities. So.
Great. Okay, we will share with everyone the link, and we'd love to get your feedback. Okay, we have a few updates that I'll go through now, but we do have a special guest today, Christy Kindig from Public Works Agency, and she's going to give us an update on some of the work that they're doing and a new contract that is up that they're reviewing. So we'll just go through a few save the dates and pieces of information that are really important for our community. So the first one is our neighborhood dumpster day. It's scheduled for Saturday, September 4th. And if you recall, we've had these now, 2 of them on garage sale weekend, the Saturday of garage sale weekend, and it's been really successful. So we'll have 2 dumpsters. They'll be set up over by Willard Park, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. So Gayle Olivos, thank you so much for coordinating this. And then also just a reminder that we'll also have that for the December garage sale weekend as well. And then just a quick reminder on what's permitted and not permitted. Net, anything that is like an AC unit that might have like battery parts, electronics, those are items that are not permitted, but we can give you information as to where those can be recycled or thrown out. But for our purposes, any houseware type things, furniture, carpeting, lumber, mattresses, those types of things are allowed, and any other household items. So if anyone would like to volunteer for that day, the city does send out a couple of people to help monitor it, but it's a great time to just be out there to say hi to neighbors as they come by. Another save the date, Gay, I don't know if you're able to give just a little highlight on this, but we are planning an October community event.
Yes, I have taken the lead on this October 2nd event. We brainstormed at our last board meeting. We wanted to give back to the community and something fun for both adult and child alike. And we missed the opportunity to join the Movies in the Park. And as you know, we don't have really a park in the Willard neighborhood, but we decided or agreed upon on having a music night. I'm going to be working with Willard. I'm reaching them and other community partners to how we can bring some music into the Willard for one night on October the 2nd. And it actually coincides with the beginning of Las Fiestas Patrias, or Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'm looking to bring in some local groups, in particular, probably children dancing from El Sol Academy, as well as Willard, and maybe the Santa High School Mariachi Band. I don't know, I'm still working on it. Of course, engaging with Alyssa and the city of Santa Ana on how to kick this off the ground. And of course, this is all COVID, with the COVID pending. I know that it's rising in numbers, so we want to take that into consideration as well. So Look forward to engaging with anybody on this call, and look forward to my emails that will be coming out forthcoming. So thank you.
Great, that's exciting. That definitely has been on our bucket list, if you will, of activities here in the Willard community. Okay, a couple of updates with the Willard Park. So, you know, we were all super excited that the park opened back up in June, but there's still some more work to do here. Something that we need to work with the Parks and Recs department and maybe public safety as well is we need to work on having the gates closed every night. So they have not been closed, and what's happening is they're not, people other than children are going in late at night using the facility or hanging around or just doing other things that are not park related. So we need to work with them to make sure that this park gets closed every night. And then opening of the track and field. So that's the one thing that has not been open yet. And last time we had a conversation with Santa Ana School District is that once the schools were back in session, that then they would consider opening the track and field as well. So that looks like it's happening next week, and we'll give you an update on where that nets out. Okay, so just a couple more updates. The Santa Ana Public Library has been so gracious to let us, if we ever want to meet in there, they have a really beautiful second story community meeting room if we ever want to hold a neighborhood association meeting there. And so in our discussions, they were letting us know about some great work readiness workshops that they have coming up. So these are bilingual workshops. And as you can see, they cover everything from resume writing, job search skills, interview skills. They're held every Monday at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7:30 in their library. And so this is open to the public. And I know from being there, we met with them last week. They also validate your parking. It's just a great resource. And then they also are going to have one more activity. They're going to have a summer job fair, August 19th. And I believe it's in the actual plaza area by the library, 2 hours of free parking. But you get to actually meet employers. And for folks that have not been very aware, that there's really a labor shortage right now. So I know many employers are very eager to start hiring right away. So if you know of anyone that is looking for employment, this is a great resource for them. Okay, with that, we'll kick it off to Christy Kindig, Projects Manager for the Public Works Agency. And we're very excited to have her. So as Alyssa mentioned, she'll be giving us a report and presentation. And if we can hold our questions for the end, we'll have an opportunity to ask questions or give comments. Great. Welcome, Christy.
Hi, I'll share my screen.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Christy Kindig. I'm the enterprise manager for the Public Works Agency, and I'm responsible for solid waste. I jokingly call myself the trash goddess of Santa Ana, because if you have to be in charge of trash, you might as well be a goddess, right? So we've been doing a request for proposal process. We've been, had our contract for many, many years. It was time to do what we call it an RFP, to get a new contract, especially in view of all the new legislation that the state is implementing that we have to be compliant with. So this is a presentation. I'll try to go quickly. Do not hesitate to ask me questions at the end, because I want to make sure that I answer any questions you have. So let's see. Next, so basically, since June 22nd, we had a work study session with City Council. It was a special council meeting and updated them. Since then, we've been doing individual meetings with the council. We held a public hearing on July 20th in order to, because it's part of our process in order to award a franchise agreement. August 17th is our next event, and that is when we go and we ask council to make a decision on one of 4 haulers. And then, of course, the reason we enter into a contract so much earlier than the services start, which start July 1 of 2022, is because whoever ends up with the contract will be required to purchase new vehicles, new carts, possibly new bins. So just to refresh everybody's, or to educate anybody who doesn't know, what you have out there at the curbside is 3 carts, and they're 96 gallons. It's the largest cart size that we have. But you might also have multi-family locations in your area that have bin service, or that might even have some roll-off boxes. These are all different sizes based on what kind of needs you have, whether you're a business or something, you have a multi-family location that has different kinds of services. So the key things that we put into this request for proposal for residential, obviously the 3-cart automated program. We have, instead of green waste, you'll see it says organics, and that's a mandate from the state. So we'll see what that looks like. Senior mobile home discount, a walkout service for disabled at no charge. The holiday tree program, which we've always had, on-call bulky item pickup. That we always had 2 pickups per year, up to 4 items. We doubled it to say 4 pickups at 4 items per year. On-call universal waste collection. That's something that is, you know, things that are like things with a plug. So those are a special waste that can't be thrown in your trash. A residential used oil and filter collection program for curbside cart customers. Temporary bin service, and then a Sharps mailback program for people that generate Sharps, medical needles, things like that. So for multifamily units, it's really focused on bin collection service. Again, source separated recyclables and organics, temporary service, permanent or temporary roll-off boxes for different reasons. And then the big addition for them is an on-call bulky item collection for multifamily. We asked that there be something, and we asked the proposers to be creative because we find that what's really impacting neighborhoods is the move in, move out from multifamily locations, because most of them are not direct build. And so you have to either work through your property manager or someone to authorize a collection. And it comes at a fee, it's not free. Now, and so what happens is people just put stuff out and they move. With this, there will be a certain amount free for everyone, so that we should really reduce the amount of illegal dumping. And then, of course, we're adding multifamily bin customer holiday tree collection, so it'll be like the neighborhood, the residential curbside people. Our key services in the community. This is something, the 300 roll-off boxes. This is something we've had in the current contract. Works very well. I'm glad that you guys are taking advantage of it. It's a great opportunity to get rid of things that you know, are just inconvenient to dispose of. We are implementing an annual household hazardous waste drop-off event. I don't know if anyone's participated, but we've had one pretty much every other year over at Saddleback High School, where you can go in and drop stuff off for free. And we're going to do one annually. We just haven't been able to do one because of COVID. But we do intend to do one in March or April of 22, just so you know. We're also adding an annual compost giveaway event, an environmental ambassador program. We're requiring at least one full-time recycling coordinator, and then we're also asking them to pay for part of the funding for the Santa Ana Quarterly newsletter, which you guys get. Key contract terms, the initial term that we're going to enter into is 10 years. It will come with an optional 5-year extension at the agreement of both the hauler and the city. And then there's also an additional option of up to 36 months at the city's sole discretion. And that's always helpful when you have to do an RFP process, request for proposal process, because it is a very long process. We have minimum recycling requirements because of our state mandates. All the carts will be new at the beginning of service, and the reason we put that in there is because Senate Bill 1383 in the 3rd bullet, that's the big change of everything. It has to do with organics, and it actually has a very specific cart color and lid color for each of the commodities we collect. All the rock collection vehicles will be model year 2021 or newer. And we have also included an education, outreach, and implementation program to assist us in becoming compliant with all the state mandates. So similar to what we have now, the contract will have a rate adjustment calculator, and it's usually based on CPI. And this is just, consumer price index on the service component, on the fuel component, and then disposal. The County of Orange owns the landfills in the county, and we're all the cities here have entered into solid waste disposal agreements with the county. And so they have their own CPI that they pass on to us every year. So, and then for other services, they have this component of CPI, but it's pretty standard in the industry. The same kind of rate adjustment formula for roll-off box service. Those are the really big ones. And then any other services that we have. So this is just full disclosure what they're based on. So now this is the proposed residential monthly rate. So these are the four proposers: Athens Services, Republic, Waste Management, and CR&R. They proposed these rates as a beginning rate effective July 1 of next year. So you've got Athens at $17.55, Republic at $22.94, Waste Management at $22.95, and CR&R at $23.71. Currently on your bill, you're getting charged for 2 months at a time, but it's at a monthly rate of $22.57. So you can compare that. On the projected residential rates for the first 5 years, this is based on each one of their proposals. This is where the rate starts, and this is how it accelerates over time over 5 years. It also includes a rate adjustment calculation in there for what we're going to call the Clean City Initiatives, which is a pretty amazing citywide program that I'm going to talk about in detail in just a minute. So the projected residential rates, these are the increases for the Clean City Initiatives that I just mentioned, and I'll talk about what they really are in a minute, but this is how it'll impact. So in year 2, each proposer has proposed to escalate their pricing differently in order to pay for their costs for the Clean City Initiative. So in addition to your CPI, you will have these rate increases. Now the projected residential rates, the rate adjustment for Clean City Initiatives, and we estimated a 2.5% CPI because we don't know what it's going to be, but 2.5% seems reasonable. This is the actual percent increase in how each one of them will roll out. And I can make this this presentation available for anybody if they want it at a later date. So we also have a 3 cubic yard temporary bin. So let's say you want to go clean out your garage, you want to get some stuff out of your backyard, and you need a bin this is typically a 3-yard bin. The rates as are proposed are these. Now this does not include disposal because there is a per ton fee for disposal for whatever's in your bin, but this is the base rate. This is the base rate that it is currently. So multifamily residential service. Multifamily is typically serviced in the larger bins. That's due to our municipal code. So we had to take a measure to compare the rates that are proposed. Even though all of these services are separate, when you combine, it's kind of a good solid average. So if you look at the bottom left here where it says service level, this full service would be a 3-yard trash bin twice a week, a 3-yard recycling bin once a week, and a one organics cart per week. So that service, when you take all the rates and you combine them, this is what you see and how they're ranked from low to high. When you go to the roll-off box rate comparison, this is so much per pickup. This is for 4 tons of disposal, and this would be the combined rate over here. So you see this from low to high as well. And our existing rate is $584.31. Now the 3 cubic yard temporary bin for mixed C and D. This is like, let's say you want to remodel your bathroom and you pull your toilet out and your bathtub out and a few other things. you can still put them in a 3-yard bin, but it's a special bin for construction and demolition because it's going to be heavier. And so that's why the charges are heavier. So you can see the rates from low to high, and you can, and then again, it still does not include disposal. And then you can see what we're charging right now is $145.21. So this is a big number. So for the first year rate revenue to any one of these haulers, this is what it is. 57, almost 58 million, a little over 59, 59.5 million, a little bit over 59.5 million based on each proposer. Now the proposed rate revenue over 10 years. So if you'd taken that first number and you escalated it with an estimated 2.5% CPI increase, and then you forecasted it for 10 years, this is what it would look like, the revenue to the proposer. So it's a very, very big contract. Of course, we have all kinds of things included in it. But what I want you to also know is that considering the size of Santa Ana and the amount that they had to propose and how they had to really fine tune their proposals, they are only 3.8% apart from each other in their total revenue, estimated revenue. So these haulers really sharpened their pencils and fought hard to get their rates down as low as they could. For the equipment specifications, this is for the vehicles. The fuel type is either compressed natural gas or renewable natural gas, but it's all natural gas, not gasoline, or whatever that other one is, I can't remember. But the model years are all going to be 2022, so they're all going to be new vehicles. For the carts, they're all going to be new because that's a requirement. And for the bins, the 3 proposers, Athens, Sierra, and our Republic, proposed new bins because they don't have any currently. Waste Management proposed to use their bins. In the reference check, there were our solid waste consultant contacted city customers and took a poll, and this is how they how many people they checked with, and this is the average rating out of 5. You'll see that Athens came in first, with Republic in 4th. But also, if you know, let's see, what is it? So this is how each one of them was defined. For bulky item pickup. So remember I said that for multifamily bulky item pickup, we asked the proposers to come up with their own program. We didn't just give them a standard level. So Athens Services said they'll give you 10 free bulky items per quarter per dwelling unit for multifamily. So what that means is per each unit, you can get 40 bulky items for free over the year. If there's any more, it's $48 an item. CR&R said is mirrored the residential, so it's going to be 4 bulky items per year per multifamily unit of up to 4 items per pickup. So the same level as curbside residential. Republic Services said they'll do 10 free bulky items picked up per quarter per dwelling unit. That is, again, 40 per quarter, per year. And then Waste Management, they have proposed unlimited, so that you can get anything through on-call scheduling, a designated collection day, which people are allowed to choose which one they want to do. And so that's the level of bulky item pickup. Okay, so here's the Clean City Initiative. This was really important to staff and it was requested by the mayor pro tem and council members, and we got really excited about it. So the city manager and the executive team, they took direction from the mayor pro tem and the mayor pro tem and the council members, and started to work with staff. The good thing is all the proposers were excited about participating in this, and what it really does is it provides a comprehensive right-of-way cleaning. So we're going to really try to do our best to implement programs that are going to clean up the city more and more. So we worked with staff, and our HF&H Consultants is our solid waste consulting group that's helping us through this RFP. It really targets heavily traveled locations, industrial and business districts, and hotspots. And hot spots, they change over time. So what could be a hot spot today might very well shift over the next 6 months, year, 2 years. So it's not that it's going to be focused in one area only. We're going to watch how things change, and where we need to do things, we're going to shift resources. So service locations, they can and will be, they'll vary based on our right-of-way cleaning needs. Most of the service is 6 days a week. So you're gonna have people out there doing this work 6 days a week, which is phenomenal. But all of them responded, all of them can provide the services. Because of the cost of the services, that's why you saw those increases on the Clean City initiatives phased in over time, just to make it more affordable. So those services will also be phased in over 24 months. So the service enhancements specifically are site-specific litter cleaning and bulky item removal, so that we have people out there looking for it, and then putting on their list and getting it picked up right away. Then the right-of-way trash container service. This is new, very new, and it's to take up to 250 containers that'll be placed in the right-of-way in different areas where we see more trash being generated. And this will be collected 6 days a week. We will also ask the proposers to use our work order app integration. So the My Santa Ana app, where you can report things. If you reported, say, a bulky item that was abandoned in the right of way, the proposer, whoever gets the contract, they'll receive a notification. So it'll go straight to them. They'll get it routed and they'll get it taken care of. The sidewalk litter and debris cleaning service on the hardscape. Again, we all know that there are places that this will be really a wonderful benefit. We'll have sidewalk power washing in areas that need it. Porter service, which means that maybe somebody may need to go and clean off signage or street lights or different things in the area. Washing and sanitizing of all bins. So let's say you are a bin serviced customer. Once a year, you could ask them to come out and clean your bin for free. And then we also have a clean business initiative that will be addressing our businesses to possibly offer them some motivation to do something right outside their business and do, just to keep things a little bit cleaner. So the next, where we have been is we've been doing these individual meetings with council as needed. We've also been doing all of our community meetings to try to get everybody as up to date on this as possible. We did the public hearing and we adopted a resolution of intent. That's just a process thing because we were required to do that public hearing in advance of doing of adopting the resolution and awarding the agreement to a hauler, which will occur on August 17th. I think that was my last slide. It is. So I'm sorry. I know that was an awful lot, but I wanted to get through it quickly. So does anybody have any questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Christy. That was so informative. So it was a lot of slides, but I know.
Yes, this is Gayle. I do have questions, Christy.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that presentation. And I kind of try to follow along with the presentation, but I'm on my smartphone. Two things. One, are you going to send us a copy of that so I can look at it? Because I bet you that once I hang up, I'm going to say, oh, I should have asked her this question, right? I should have asked this question.
Alyssa, you connect with Bianca. You could you then get her the presentation, or Irene, and have somebody provide it to the association?
Yeah, I'll email them.
Okay.
And my second thing is through all the presentation, I want to know if we're still entitled to our cleaning bins, quarterly or so many times a year. Is that still?
Okay, so that was, let me get back there.
I know, what slide was that? Yeah, what slide was that? Is that the bulk pickup?
I want to make you feel totally comfortable about that component. So sorry, this is probably driving your eyes crazy. See this right here? 300 roll-off boxes per year for neighborhood cleanups.
Oh, good. I missed that.
So
okay, good.
Yeah, so I want you to know that is still in here and you will continue to receive that service.
Yay, my tail is wagging. Thank you.
I'm happy to help.
Yeah, because I live in a condensed area, and that those things, like to Irene's point, I mean, they fill up. You would not believe they fill up. So the need is there. So I just want to make sure that we keep that going. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the key components of this contract.
Christy, we have a question from Teresa. How is graffiti on dumpsters going to be handled?
So graffiti on dumpsters, the maintenance of your bin is your responsibility. So you can get, right now, if you need green paint, you can get it from Waste Management. And if we end up with a different proposer, well, the same thing. Or you can have them clean it, but there's a cost to it. So there's a way to make sure that there is no cost to it. Did that answer it clearly enough?
Teresa, let us know if you have any other questions. I know from personal experience, the larger dumpsters that are in the apartment complexes, we've reported graffiti on those, and through the My Santa Ana app, and they will come out and clean those off. But I don't know for personal residents if they do those.
They don't in personal residence, and usually there is a fee for or an ability for you to clean up your own apartment bin, because it is the responsibility of the person who has the service. And if there is any graffiti that's cleaned up, it's probably because it was in view of the public right of way. So that might have been an exception.
Okay. Teresa's asking where is the paint available from? Which company?
Well, right now our service provider is Waste Management. So if you needed some you could contact them.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. So you mentioned as part of the Clean Neighborhood Initiative, the right-of-way trash containers.
Yes.
Give more details of that. So one initiative that we're focusing on, our neighborhood is a very high pedestrian trafficked neighborhood, especially once the track and field opens, we get folks visiting from other neighborhoods coming to use the track and field, which is wonderful, but there is quite a bit of trash that's left over, not just in the track and field area, but along the street where the parking is. So we've always had a vision of having trash bins in high traffic corners like that folks can use, because right now there's nowhere to get rid of their trash. Right.
So I think that, did I speak to you? But I think I know I spoke to somebody from Willard, because you guys like the idea of the program that's in Washington Square.
Yes. You spoke to Fabi Silva.
Yes. Okay. So that program developed, it's been a pilot program, and it's a pilot program that somebody forgot was happening, because, pilot program is, let's see how it works. And if it works great, then we'll identify some pricing for it. So that has been a pilot program for many, many years, but with the end of this contract and the entering into a new contract, no matter who it's with, that will go away. There is an established rate structure that we got from each proposer to service those. So there's two options. Let's say you went out and did the same thing that Washington Square did, and you bought some concrete containers that required liners. So that is what they call a manual servicing. That has a certain rate component, and then there's another rate component, so that, let's say they were a similar kind of program to the 250 that we're going to strategically locate around town. Those have a different rate structure, and I believe they're a bit less expensive. Now and it's for 1 time a week service. So let's see. What I want to say about the 250 ones, they'll be looking at where to locate them, but they won't be locating any of those 250 within neighborhoods. It will be more on major arterials or areas that they're seeing a lot of increased litter, but it wouldn't be within a neighborhood association.
Okay.
Would that answer that?
It does. Thank you. Would a park be considered a And at like a major area?
It is a major area, but it's serviced by the Parks
Okay.
Agency. Yeah, Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that if we felt we needed one across the street from the park. So it really just depends on the analysis of what is out there, what we feel the hot spots are, and what we identify as the initial location for the 250. And again, that really could change over time. We just have to see how things work.
Okay. We have another question here from Aaron Cornejo. Who is in charge of the upkeep of bus stops?
That falls under me.
The trash goddess.
Yes, so I handle some of the right-of-way programs, which are, I oversee the bus shelter maintenance contract and the banners on streetlight poles and the news box permitting. Now, just to let you know, the contract we have right now with Clear Channel, who provides advertising and then pays for a subcontractor to maintain the bus stops. That has been in a carryover situation for a while. We are right now in a separate request for proposal process for that service. So we hope to identify one or two companies to negotiate with shortly, and then move forward in that. And what we're doing in that process is we're trying to increase the service level of maintenance every week. Because again, just like the Clean City initiative, we're trying to increase, our level of cleaning. I will say something though, because I know that, we have aging bus stop furniture that's out there. And we worked very hard internally to get some supplemental funding to replace some of that. Right now, I think we're rolling out new pairs of one bus bench and one trash can at 134 locations that have no furniture. And then I have another purchase of, I think it's 169 pairs that once the carry forward is authorized in the next couple of months, we'll place that order and we'll start replacing furniture that is aged and needs to be replaced. In addition to that, as far as part of the Main Street, we have a Main Street Vision project. We're going to end up with brand new style of bus shelter and bench and trash containers on Main Street with many of the modern shelters that are on Main Street in this section. They'll move to Sunflower and Bristol. And then we also have another project, which is through Orange OCTA. It's funding for 35 new bus shelters as part of their grant, Project W granting. And we hope to get those installed, ordered, built, and installed sometime in the current fiscal year. So we have a lot of good things coming for bus stop amenities, but it's a process. Did she have a particular question about maintenance?
Let's see, we'll wait for them to answer. A related question on, so for the right-of-way trash containers, or are there any services that our neighborhood can look into as far as ways to keep public areas or right-of-ways clean? I mean, we've even looked into, do we buy our own trash cans and we service them ourselves? But
that would be kind of the Washington Square model.
Okay.
But you might also look into whether you want to purchase them yourselves and then, pay for the hauler to service them one time a week, or do you want to go with an automated option? I think you'd have to look at it as a neighborhood association and see how much money you want to spend and how many you want to locate where to make sure that, you feel confident in your budget for that.
Okay.
So you can go either way.
This is Gayle. Can I just add on to that another additional question? Thank you, Irene, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
The trash cans that we had discussed, primarily, we would like to start like in the actual Willard campus on the adjacent to the sidewalk, because that's where people walk. you know, continue. I live right across from Willard, so I see that traffic daily. Well, so Irene and I both live across from Willard, so we see that traffic daily. So with that being said, and with all these different budgets going around, could that also fall into maybe Santa Unified School District budget? Or is that strictly, I guess I need to know who's responsible for that right away from the sidewalk, that little piece of land before you hit the street. Is that the responsibility of the owner or the city or?
Typically, the right-of-way area is the responsibility of the city.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty big area. It's a whole 3 blocks worth of right of way. So Christy, maybe we can follow up with you afterwards to see if there's any opportunity there for having some permanent trash cans placed there.
Well, and I have, like I said, it depends on if you want to go automated or manual, but I can then provide the pricing.
But if it's city property there?
These are typically placed in private property. So the ones in Washington Square, they are not placed in the right of way.
Okay.
Unless they were part of the 250 locations for right of way containers.
Okay.
And the only thing I have to say about that is there's 250. We have to figure out how to spread them over the entire city. So that's a challenge, obviously.
Sure. No, that's understandable.
Right.
Yeah. And if there's even, I mean, 2 would be such a huge help, 2 or 3 for this neighborhood. And I'll follow up after this meeting with some photographs and a little more detail on and examples of the type of trash that's left and the area specifically. But it is that right-of-way area that's neither Santa Ana School District and it's not private property either.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
It is.
Yes, you know, there's always more than one way to get something done, right? So don't hesitate to ask.
Okay.
Can't guarantee anything, but if you don't ask, it won't happen.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Are there any other questions?
Anybody else? Okay, so we'll make sure that Alyssa sends you the presentation and also the pricing on the neighborhood containers.
Great. Thank you so much, Christy. We appreciate it.
Anything else that you need follow up on? We're pretty good.
I think we're good. The trash cans are a big initiative for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll definitely follow up, see if there's any possibility there, and then we'll look at some alternatives as well.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Thank you all for being so kind and asking really good questions.
Thank you, Christy.
Absolutely.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Did you want me to stick around for any reason, or are you good?
I think we're good. We're going to move on to talk about the My Santa Ana app for a bit. And so thank you so much.
Okay. Well, you take care. Good talking to you all.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Gayle, Teresa has some great contacts and suggestions for the music and entertainment for the October event. So I will forward that off to you. One is the Magic Academy. She has a contact there. And then the other one is a gentleman named Jacob. He's a 5-year-old boy who is a drummer. So that would be something fun to have for that event. Okay, the last thing we have to share today is the My Santa Ana app. And has anybody here that's on the call used that service before?
I have. It's amazing.
I love it.
Me too.
I feel like it's like a my son plays the Pokemon on that hunting game on the phone, and I feel the same. I'm like, stop the car, I see something, I need to report it.
Yes. Well, I'll tell my story in a little bit, but go ahead and share about it. I think every single person in this whole city should be using it. Alyssa may disagree. I don't know, depending on whether or not she gets those requests, but you guys, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, Bianca, go ahead and share. I'm going to queue up a video. It's a quick 1-minute video that for folks that are not familiar with it, can learn how to use it.
Okay, so I go to Fullerton to work every day, and I come up Parton and turn on 17th Street, and I'm always on the lookout and happen to notice graffiti. 3 times now, I have not stopped, but taken a picture. And I'm not joking when I say that within 24 hours, that graffiti has been cleaned up. And I am so incredibly thankful and grateful to the city workers who work so hard to combat the graffiti and everything else that happens in our city. But I am just continually impressed in a city our size. That it's gonna sound silly, but it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, what I report matters. And when they do it that quickly, it's just gives me a big sense of pride in our city. And I'm just, like I said, grateful to the city workers, because they are out there hustling and getting things cleaned up when we report it. So please, if you see something, report it, because they really do get that work clean. They get it done and get our city cleaned up.
I agree. My mom lives in Garden Grove, and I often go visit her and see graffiti on her wall. I say, "Oh, we don't have that in my neighborhood, Mom." I'm like, "You need to call the city," and she finds it such a hassle to do that. But no, we're very fortunate to have this tool, and know that it's for any trash you see. I know I've used it for potholes even, and they were filled up within 24 hours and fixed. So it is a great service. So I'm just going to play a 1-minute video that will, for those that have not used the app, will give you a quick overview. Let me see if I can cue this up.
We can't see your screen, Irene. Just make sure you share that first.
Yes, yeah. Let me cue it up. 1 second. No, it doesn't want to launch.
The city of Santa Ana cares about.
Shouldn't the way you charge your device be
Sorry
just
about
as
that.
good as the device
Okay.
itself? I mean, don't you think the chargers today are pretty sad and crappy with messy wires everywhere?
Okay.
The city of Santa Ana cares about keeping our streets clean and safe. When you see an issue, it's easy to report it using the My Santa Ana app. Make sure you've downloaded the free app on your mobile phone. Open the app and press the Report an Issue button. Choose the category that best describes the issue and the type of location. The app will automatically geotag your location, and you'll take a quick photo. Once you've submitted the report, it is sent directly to city staff, who will come out and resolve the issue. It's fast, it's easy, and before you know it, you've helped our city become better. Every little bit counts, and together we can help Santa Ana stay great. For more information about our efforts and the My Santa Ana app, please visit www.santa-ana.org/apps.
Okay. So the other thing to note is that your submission can be anonymous.
Is your Dollar Tree not that great? You need to watch this thing.
I watch a lot of DIY videos. So yes, so your submissions can be anonymous. But yes, highly encourage you to use that. So that concludes our agenda, but I do want to recognize a couple of folks. We have Chris 14, who joined us. He's a new Willard resident. I know he's a old friend of the community, and for those of you that may recognize him from our June 5th event, he heads up the SAS organization, Santa Ana Active Streets, and their goal is to really educate folks on their rights for accessing streets by bicycling, skating, pedestrians, and just a wealth of knowledge of everything having to do with Santa Ana. I know he's a journalist. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good to see everybody from that June 5th event. And that was an awesome event. I never got to say thanks for hosting that. Yeah, I work with Santa Ana Active Streets. We've been around since about 2013. I've been with the organization as a volunteer, and now I'm the director, the project director. But yeah, I'm a new Willard adjacent resident. I live like across the street, up like near Washington, Maine. I just live on like the other side of Maine, not on the Willard side. But I'm so close. I'm like, I feel close to Willard. But yeah, no. So we offer a bunch of stuff. We host bike safety classes, teaching folks how to ride on the road, understanding their rights, and riding safely. We host bike rides and walks. Right now, we're doing our last bike ride, which is a gentrification bike ride. So we also try to do rides where we're educating community members, so about different kind of concepts that might feel kind of distant. And actually, we're going to be doing a stop in the Willard community. So I wanted to also actually invite y'all, and I can share the flyer too, because we'll be having a portion where we talk about Willard and the idea that it's an area that it has seen a lot of evictions and a lot of different things. So it's having a conversation about what that means, and about what housing means for folks. So I definitely wanted to show up just to kind of invite y'all, if y'all are able to participate, but even just to learn about it as well too. But yeah, so we just do a bunch of different stuff. Irene's been a wonderful volunteer with us, and honestly, it's been amazing to have you involved with our efforts. And yeah, you'll see us sometimes on bikes, sometimes you'll see us at intersections giving out bike lights and helmets. And we really try to just make sure we're advocating for bicyclists and pedestrians. A lot of folks move around that way, and city streets don't feel that safe sometimes to move in that way. So we want to make sure that the folks can move around and get around where they got to go, and have that choice to do it in that way. Or if they don't have that choice to drive, like, they can still get around in a safe way. So
Thank you, Chris.
anyways,
Welcome.
thanks, y'all.
I also want to acknowledge Lieutenant Gonzalez. Thanks so much for joining. And I think ever since the start of our neighborhood association calls, we've always had a representative from Santa Ana PD. So we really thank you for joining us. And welcome.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you for having me. Super informative meetings. I actually grew up kind of close to the Willard area. My mom actually went to Willard, so it feels close to home here. So definitely appreciate it.
Thank you also. This is Gayle Vivos for joining. Are you the same officer that comes to all our meetings, or does it just randomly get sent by different officers? And the reason I asked, go ahead.
My team is actually in charge of the community. No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. The reason I asked is that I really want to get off and running, no pun intended, with the police officer walking with local Willard residences around our neighborhood. And I think Irene had sent an email maybe a few weeks ago, and I forgot the gentleman's name at the top of my head, but I really want to get that off the ground to show the community in the Willard neighborhood that we're building bridges. I know there's a lot of things going on right now with the no confidence vote. I've been intact with all that drama, and maybe this might be a good opportunity for Santa PD to show that they care about the community, right? And all I'm asking for is a little walk around our neighborhood with flashlights and the kids, and bring the dog if you want, and just kind of show that, we're going to build a bridge and we're taking back our community. There had been some mention that there's a charge for that. I don't know, that was new to me. I didn't think there was a charge, but I need to know who I can speak to directly about this. Would you have that information?
Yeah, so my team, we're actually a 10-man team. So I was one of the first officers assigned to the Willard community event. If I'm not available, one of my teammates will pick up and join the meetings. But we are in charge not only from enforcement on complaints to street presence, but we also handle the community engagement portion of it. So my team is actually in charge of all the community events. So you can actually take my email down, and I can run it with my supervisor, see what our schedule looks like, to see if we can actually set something up with you guys. And yeah, definitely, we definitely like to include, all of the department, not just my team. We have, like you mentioned, the canines, we have the dogs, we have the motors who are on motorcycles. You know, we have various teams that can come out and, you know, show presence in the community and actually engage with you guys. So I'm not too familiar with Zoom, but I'll try to post my email on here somehow. Or if you guys want to jot it down, it's L Gonzalez, LGONZALEZ, and it's at santa-ana.org. So that's my my work email. If you want to just shoot me an email with your name, contact, and we can definitely chat about it, see if we can set something up.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Yes, and we had sent an inquiry to, I believe his name is Commander Marty and Alvarez, who had previously joined our June 5th event. But yes, I know that's something that's important to Gayle, and she's interested in. We're all interested in.
And to the whole charge thing, I've never heard of that. But no, I don't think there's any charge at all for that. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. That concludes our agenda. Are there any questions or concerns or new topics that anyone would like to bring up?
I just want to give a reminder that we'll be, excuse me, posting the link to the Google Doc where we have ideas for our Neighborhood Association mission statement. So if you can, please jump on there and leave comments, leave you know, any feedback. We're really trying to narrow down that mission. Like I said briefly in the beginning, we want to be able to have our mission be very, very clear so that when opportunities are presented or brought to our attention, we can weigh those opportunities against our mission and decide whether or not it is in line with our mission and something that we should participate in. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, everyone, for spending your afternoon with us. So our next meeting is slated for Monday, September 13th, 6:30 p.m. I encourage you all to bring a neighbor, bring a friend, and we'll keep you posted about whether we can do it in person. That's our goal, is to find an outdoor location where we can hold our next meeting in person. But that concludes our Neighborhood Association meeting. Thank you all so much, and we really do appreciate it, and we'll see you around the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.